but that doesn't mean that we keep all the fun in the fun half. Here's Sean Hannity reacting. And yesterday, I had the privilege of being I got a notice from my my kid's school a couple of weeks ago that the administration was aware that students were planning to walk out of school on March 14th. This was obviously announced nationally, and different school, like the kids and the student government or student council decided that's what they were going to do. They said, we don't know how many students are going to walk out. We are not going to do anything to facilitate this, but we also will not stop them. Teachers in classes will stay in classes, so that in the event that there are any students who want to stay in class, that they're going to stay in class. But, and as we're not going to facilitate this, we may have some, we're going to have teachers who are not in class stand outside to make sure that the kids are safe. But if you're, a parent, you can come down there and basically stand on a street corner just to make sure that the kids are safe, do so. So I was out there. Hundreds of kids marched. And I have to say, if you know anything about middle school kids, to have even a moment where they are quiet is stunning and in some ways really poignant. And these kids marched around a full city block without really saying a word. They had signs. Maybe they were whispering to each other, but it was quiet. It was eerily quiet, and it was pretty poignant. Now, of course, this is a horrible offense to someone like Sean Hannity and the conservatives, because children are meant to be seen, not heard. Now, of course, even though this was they were silent. Not just not heard. You're just also not supposed to see them. But here's Sean Hannity complaining about it.
I'll tell you what's pretty disgraceful today. There's a headline, teachers unions, and you've got all these other groups of people out there. You got Pocahontas. By the way, why wouldn't Elizabeth Warren get one of those Ancestry tests? Ancestry was an advertiser on this program for a period of time. I actually had the...
Wonder if Ancestry wants to be associated with mocking people's background. That'd be an interesting question for folks out there to ask Ancestry if they want to really be associated in that way. But let's hear Sean Hannity brag about how purebred he is.
Past. And it's pretty cool. I mean, if you want to find out what your heritage is, your background is, in my case, it came back. It was something that I thought I already knew, but you don't always know. 100% Irish or 100% British Isles is how they defined it. And I think those tests are amazing because, maybe you have this, you didn't know you had that relative, this relative. It doesn't, it's kind of cool. They were shocked because very few people come back 100% like I did. That apparently is not normal.
Yeah, it is not normal. It's called inbreeding, and it's probably what's responsible for the particular look that Sean Hannity has. It's a little like his forehead, I think, is a little bit slanted a little bit. But and maybe it explains his ease with thought. Let's put it that he's not bright.
Because very few people come back 100% like I did. That apparently is not normal. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But it's interesting to find out. But I knew all four of my grandparents came to America, and none of them had any money, for the record. But anyway,
also all related before marriage.
All these kids, Planned Parenthood, the Women's March, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, who won't take the test, but she says she's not running for president, probably is running for president. They're all behind. I watched these students walking out today to change the gun laws, and it's pretty despicable that so many people feel that they have a right to indoctrinate our kids. So they're trying to get, young 14, 15, 16-year-old kids to vote Democrat in the fall. That's all this effort really is.
For those people whose ancestors inbred and you came out 100% of something, let me explain this. If you are a 14, 15, or 16-year-old in March, by the time the fall comes around, you're not going to be able to legally vote in this country because you need to be 18. So in other words, to go from the age 14, 15, or 16, you will need more than 8 months to get to age 18 where you're legal to vote. So I just want to make that clear because it's obvious that, I mean, people who are 100% purebred don't necessarily always. My understanding, they also have problems with their hips. Yeah. It's the purebreds.
Are you sure about that? I know math isn't really our strong suit.
No, our math is not our strong suit here, but I'm quite sure of that.
Hannity was so psyched to get 100%.
So psyched.
How long?
I don't want to brag about it, but they said
He
we're
wouldn't have
really
mentioned it.
surprised. We're really surprised.
If he had native indigenous ancestry, he would not have mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling it was probably like 98%. He just figured lop off the 2%. You can round up.
How long until Ancestry.com is forced to disavow all the milk-chugging anime Nazis who are using it to prove their racial purity?
I hope it's soon.